everybody doing?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Oh. All right. So let's get rocking, man. Anybody? Who's first?
Here we go. You guys have added a few guys on the defense, some on the line, obviously secondary. Just what have those changes? What do you think those changes can bring to this group?
You know, we're really excited about the guys that we have that we added. You know, we wanted to get bigger and longer. We definitely did that up front. We did it in the back end also with Trey. The vision of how we want to play and how we want to be and how we want to look is more. You're seeing more of it right now from a size and length and speed standpoint. So,
and one of those guys, Javon Kinlaw, what can he add? And just, you know, what have you thought of him over the years? What can he add on that front?
You know, he's a uniquely big man that can bend and play with some power and speed. He will have the ability to move him up and down the line of scrimmage. So we can put him wherever we want to because he has that type of skill set. He'll be difficult for, you know, tight ends to block if we put him in the 6 technique or if we kick him inside. He has the length that's going to be difficult for guards to deal with as well. So he's an intriguing young man to work with.
Ton of playing time, looking to take a bigger step this year?
You know, I think every year is really different. And so I'm a firm believer of giving everybody an opportunity to play. And so we're going to give everybody looks. You'll see, well, you haven't been here in practice a lot, but there'll be different bodies and running with the ones today that haven't necessarily been running with them because I want to give everybody opportunities. And the only way that you can do that is put those people in spaces to be in there with a Bobby Wagner, to be in there with a Frankie Louvu, to get the calls and how do they react to that. So I don't have any names for you right now, but a lot of guys have been given those opportunities.
Hey, Joe. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I imagine, you know, we're all wanting to see the guys and seeing, you know, who looks different, who's, you know, whatever it may be with what they've done in the offseason. I imagine for you, that's got to be a big deal when they come in for the first time. Were there some guys that for you stood, okay, I can tell they really put in some work or some other things before this all started?
Pretty much they all going to come back in shape, okay? It's just because of who we are and what we do. The guy that, to me, he just looks really good. He looks intentful. Deron Payne, man, like every day this dude is – I'm having to tell him, hey, man, let's calm down. Like I got in trouble with the head coach yesterday because I challenged the D-line and he went after it. And I said, Q, that was my fault. I told him to do. He did exactly what I told him to do. And so I've been really pleased. The walkthroughs, everything that we've asked him to do. And he's a leader. He doesn't talk much at all. All right, but he is leading by example, and this year you can really see him taking that leadership role and taking it to the next step. So I would say he's been the guy that's just really stood out to me the most from that standpoint.
And we'll see if John Lattimore's out here today. I know he wasn't there last week for us, but like for him, I don't know how much you've been able to see him, but like what has maybe stood out to you? Obviously, he had the injuries last year, came in midway through the season. What are you kind of hoping to see from him during this part of the offseason?
Okay, Marshawn hasn't been here. We've been in communication with him. So when he gets here, we'll see exactly where he is from a conditioning standpoint. From a mental standpoint, you know, the coaches have been meeting with him, talking with him. And so he's a smart young man, but we'll see exactly where he is when he gets here. I'm doing great. How you doing?
You lose a guy like Dante Fowler, who had 10.5 sacks last year. How do you replace that? You know, a guy that, you know, had that type of production, and obviously there's some concern maybe from the fan base of the edge position right now currently, how it's kind of constructed.
I don't think going into the year anybody thought Dante was going to have 10.5 sacks last year. I don't think anybody in here would have said that. And so we'll have somebody that to produce a higher sack total than what's thought to be, okay? And so who that person is, I don't know. Will it be a collective of guys? I don't know. But I do feel that our pass rush will be better. I do feel definitely that our run defense will be better. Where will it come from? Which individual? It's too early to say, but it will come.
Hi, Coach. How important is this voluntary period for rookies like Trey Amos who are getting, you know, as you said, time with the ones, time with veterans like Deron Payne?
I think it's really important. I think you know, from a number of different aspects, okay? You have the opportunity to the brotherhood, the building. When we went on that 3-game losing streak, it wasn't anything other than the brotherhood that kept them together, and you start building that now with how we work and how DQ and AP runs this program. And then secondly, the rookies are allowed to meet a little bit extra, so they'll be with the vets in the morning, and in the evening they have rookie meetings, which I'm changing to developmental type meetings, so that they get extra, and they are. And Trey Amos, he's a guy that's ahead of the curve right now and doing really, really well.
Hey, Coach. Jordan McGee seemed to have a pretty good training camp last year, then was derailed a little bit by the knee injury. As you start looking into how he's going to contribute this year, what are your expectations for him?
We really had a package in last year for Jordan, and then he got hurt. And so it sort of took that package away versus 12 personnel. I'm really hoping that he can stay healthy. And there's some other guys at the linebacker position that we want to have some 3 linebacker defenses that we can get a little bit bigger versus 12, not play as much nickel to shore up some of the run on that aspect as well. So I'm excited to see he's been showing great call command, being a linebacker. I believe linebackers, control the huddle and control the defense, and he's learning from Bobby and Oos how to do that.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, how you doing?
When you look at last year and what you all were able to do on defense, what is it that you want to do this year a little better that you didn't see last year?
I think, and I wasn't, and to answer your question, I wasn't really trying to compare the 23 defense to the 24 of, when we got here, there was 32nd and what we went to 13th or what have you. I was trying to let it be standalone. So with saying that, we didn't produce the ball like I wanted to, that I envisioned us to. Now, the reason being, we dropped 16 of them. Literally just balls that touched our hands that we felt that should have been caught. If we catch half of those, that puts us in a different range. We didn't play the run well enough, and I thought that we would have. And so if we can, and then the third thing, closing games out, it wasn't the way that I was anticipating. And so when we get into the offseason, we look at it in 3 different things. Okay, all right, was it schematics? Was it the player? Or, or sometimes we just get beat, So, and then we went from a change, adjust, emphasis, did we need to change some things? Are we adjusting? Are we going to emphasize some areas? And so the turnovers we're going to emphasize because we just have to catch the ball. Some of the things we're doing with the front for the run game, we have changed, and some we have adjusted. And so, and then winning time moments in 2 minutes, we're going to competition every day to get those things better.
Hey, Coach. What are your thoughts so far on rookie Kane Madrano?
Kane, Kane, he's a unique kid because of his receiver background coming in. Is he a linebacker really? Is he a safety? Can he do some of the Jeremy Chin roles? Can he do some of the Frankie Louvu roles? And so we're really testing the kid right now to see, all right, what is he going to be? And we'll really tell a little bit more once we put the pads on. He can really run. Does he have the ability to cover a tight end? Does he have the ability to beat a tackle in the rush? So is he Frankie or is he Jeremy or is he a cross of both? And that's what I'm trying to find out with him.
Speaking of safety, what do you see in your safety group currently?
I think it's a strong group. It's Quan hasn't really been out there because of the injuries, but he's another guy a la Payne that has just come back with laser focus, and the things that he has been able to do has been really good. Will Harris has been a nice addition. He's a guy that can come in and cover. He'll play in the box. I've been pleased with his communication. Jeremy Reeves is a guy that, he's our special teams ace, but I have to find a role for him on defense because he just makes plays, and that's what he's been doing. And then you have T.O., who is a very athletic, rangy guy. Now, what is he? Can he be the Buffalo nickel? Can he knock people back? Can we play him like a linebacker? And so, those are the questions that he has to answer, and we have to answer with him.
What are your timeline for answering all these questions? Is this something you'll figure out by the end of minicamp, or is this all the way through training camp you'll be looking at?
Because we don't have pads on right now. And then when you're in phase 3 rules, it's really not as competitive. So if the ball goes up and there's any chance of a collision, we're telling the defensive players to pull off. All right, and so, there's going to be some completions that necessary. So I call them when I talked to the defense, phase 3 completion. So in real football, that wouldn't have been a completion, but since we have to pull off, it is what it is. And so, but until we get into a more competitive, putting our pads on people, you really won't be able to tell. But in this setting right now, we want to hear mind speed. How are the guys communicating? Are we getting to our targets? We don't want people on the ground. We're not going to run any stunts or anything up front because that's when there's collisions and they don't have pads on. So we're trying to be smart from a player safety standpoint.
How much, if at all, are you thinking about the tush push right now?
Oh, at this moment, I wasn't thinking about it at all. But to answer your question, I mean, it's a good play, man. And, if I just go by the rules, and it's a legal play, and they're good at it. And we have to figure out a way to stop it. We play them twice. And so I think we have some good ideas, but, it is what it is. It's a good play. So I haven't really been thinking about it right now, though, but we will. We play them twice, and and they have a great quarterback that can run it. He's a 600-pound squatter, so it's hard to stop him. Yeah.
More of a philosophical question. Mm-hmm. You guys have a lot of talent on the interior of the D-line. Does the interior rush, in your mind, is it more valuable than, rushing from the edge?
I don't think it's more valuable. I think it can play in concert together. If you can push the pocket and get the quarterback off the spot from inside and change and move his eyes, that makes a difference. If he has the ability to step up and get comfortable stepping up, that hurts you. So, but I think just pressure in general is good, no matter where it comes from. But internal and external pressure, are equally.
And the changes up front on the line, does that at all alter the role of Frankie Louvu, like getting him even more involved in the pass rush? Or
the third down, what we're going to do on third down with Frankie, we'll move him like we've always have. I think the additions, what you'll see with Weiss and Kinlaw, Eddie, will be bigger on first and second down. All right, and we'll be bigger versus 12 personnel, 13. When people want to get big, we'll be able to get real big with them. And then and be able to shore up some of the gaps on the front end, so now the backers can play more free and the guys behind them can overlap. So I think that's what you see. But you won't see a difference with Frankie on first and second down. But when we get into known pass situations, now that's where his versatility really, really comes out. Yes, sir.
Going back to Quan real quick,
okay.
Learning about the 2 shoulder separations that he suffered during last season, just kind of what did you learn about him during the course of the year and him going through those and still being able to perform for you?
Quan is what we really stand for here, okay? He's a guy they were messing with me because this time last year I set Quan down. I was like, put him with the 2s, all right? And the coach was like, well, you made a great decision with that one. But the reason I wanted to put him with the 2s is he was making mistakes that we can't afford to make. And then the next 3 practices was boom, boom, boom. He's back in there with the 1s. And then he caught the ball I don't know if y'all saw that one, but he caught the ball from his back. And now he's taking a leadership role of communicating at a very high level, which he wasn't doing at the beginning. And I give a lot of that credit to Jason Simmons and Tommy Donatel. They've done a great job of developing him. This kid has the potential to be one of the better safeties in this league, and that's what I'm holding him to. That's what I'm expecting with him because of what he has. So I've been pleased with everything Quan and Deron. I just want to keep saying that because those 2 guys have come in with laser focus, and they're the leaders of the defense along with Bobby and Frankie.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
All right, guys, y'all have a great one, okay?